Real quick, I just wanted to talk about something that gets brought up a lot. I see it in the forums, I see it in the Facebook groups, and it's on a lot of people's minds when they're in the cleaning business, right? And it's about pricing. Everyone's scared to raise their price because they think their prices are already too high, but they know they need to be charging more. And so it creates this weird paradox where you know you need to make more money, but every time you try to increase your prices, you apparently get knocked back by everyone in the market, which first of all is untrue. When people say that they increase their prices and they get told by everyone that it's too much, they mean 2 or 3 people told them that their price is too high. Okay, now let me tell you something. When I used to do sales training, I was taught that if you're talking to a prospect one-on-one or even one-to-many and you mention price and you don't get one audible gasp, the price is not high enough. If you get people telling you that your price is too high, that is a sign that you're starting to charge the right prices. If you're not getting a single person telling you that your prices are too high, that's a bad sign. Okay, we get people sometimes telling us that our price is too high, but inevitably they still end up booking with us. Price is not the issue. And I want to talk about something that is called the virtuous and vicious cycle of price rising. So to explain it, a virtuous cycle has a favorable outcome, while a vicious cycle has a detrimental outcome. A virtuous cycle, for example, we might have a company with rising wages and that produces increased consumption by employees. That in turn produces an increased demand and inflation for rising prices. So it is a constant spinning flywheel that is spinning in a positive, a virtuous direction. Now, in the example of a cleaning business, if you have higher prices, you attract high quality customers who are more invested in the product or service. They appreciate it more because when you pay attention, and they like I said, they appreciate it more. They're going to be high quality customers. They're usually people of a higher income bracket. They're usually people who aren't trading their time one for money, which is the important part. So when you've got people who, if you charge $30 an hour, let's just use this as an example, you attract people from the lower end of the market. And people on the lower end of the market are people who can't necessarily afford the service with their money. They can only afford it with their time. And what I mean by that is you've got a lot of people who are working pretty average jobs, maybe earning between 30 and 40 an hour. So when they're paying that price for your service, all they're thinking about is that they're trading their time one for cleaning because they make 30 an hour in their job and they're paying a cleaner 30 an hour. So if they pay any more than that for a cleaner, you get that textbook response that's like, well, I'm a nurse and I earn less than these cleaners. Isn't that so wrong? That's absurd, right? They're not taking into account all the running expenses of the business, all the insurances, taxes, equipment, travel, whatever. And that just shows the ignorance of some of these customers. So when I see comments like that, it's like, I am glad these aren't my customers. I am so glad these are not my customers because what a headache trying to deal with that and trying to rationalize with that. So yeah, when you're at the bottom end of the market, you attract these people. But when you're at the top end of the market, when you're charging higher prices, you attract a different kind of customer. You attract, doctors, lawyers, other business owners, people who don't care about trading their time one for money. Money is not the issue for them. They're trying to get time back because their time is worth so much more doing what they do, or they even just value it more spending time with the people they love, like family and friends, than doing housework themselves. So they would rather, if they're earning like say $100, $200 an hour in their job, they would rather trade 1 hour of their time for 3 hours of cleaning. You see how that kind of differs from the lower end to the higher end of the market. So when you charge higher prices, you attract a different customer, first of all, but you're also able to make a much better service. When you've got higher prices, you've got increased margins, which means you can provide a better service or a better product to your market. And then that in turn, like in the virtuous cycle, means you're going to have happier customers. You're going to have more disposable money that you can spend acquiring more of these happy customers, more of these high quality customers. And the flywheel just keeps on spinning and spinning. Whereas in the vicious cycle, You charge lower prices, you attract lower quality customers who don't care as much about your service. You have lower margins that you can spend on, so you can't spend on advertising and growing the business more and the systems that you need. And so it's just a race to the bottom. And I think it was Dan Kennedy who said there is no benefit to being the second cheapest in your market. There is a big benefit to being the cheapest in your market, but you can't compete on that. You need to compete on volume. And if you're a small business, you can't do that. So the only way is to be the most expensive, right? And you can be the most expensive. You just need to deliver on service, because that's what we do. We're in a service business. So you just need to increase the quality of your service, your customer experience. They need to feel like they're getting great value for their money, even if maybe they're not. It's the perceived value that they're looking at. So even just the price of something is perceived value, right? Like a Mercedes. Let's take a Mercedes for an example. So a Mercedes C-Class might be, $80,000 to $90,000 brand new. If that car was $30,000 brand new, half the people who buy it now wouldn't buy it, simply because they're not buying it for the price. They're buying it for the prestige. And the price increases the perceived value of the car, because it's not really worth an extra $60,000 or $70,000 to a Toyota Camry. And actually, Toyota Camrys are pretty expensive brand new now, so that's not a great example. But you get my point, right? It's the perceived value. So when Apple pushes out a new product, you expect it to be a high price. You don't expect an Apple product to be cheap. That would decrease their perceived value. And that's not what their market is accustomed to, because Apple targets a certain type of customer that does not care about how much the product costs, because the value that they associate with the product is so high. And you need to position your cleaning service like that as well. And it starts by increasing your price. That is fundamentally the first thing that happens. And if you look at the maths, you can lose a lot of customers when you increase prices and still maintain the same margins, right? It's just simple numbers. And so with that in mind, you'd be silly not to increase your prices if you have a whole book of clients that are on a lower price point and you know you need to increase. And it seems kind of counterintuitive that raising prices actually gets you more customers, and customers who care more about the service even though they're paying more. It's really counterintuitive, but the secret is business is counterintuitive. That's just how it works. It's worked for me, and it's worked for hundreds, if not thousands of others. Right? I am not the exception. Lots of other people have done what I've done. I'm just very outspoken about it. So, yeah, increase prices. It is a virtuous cycle as opposed to a vicious cycle. And that kind of paints that picture for you. The virtuous cycle is a positive compounding effect that just keeps on going and going in the upwards trajectory. Whereas the vicious cycle of low prices, it leads to bad customers, poorer quality customers. You can't deliver as good of a service as someone charging more than you because you've got less margin. And so your customers are left dissatisfied because they're not getting a great quality service, which is what they want. Even though they don't have a big budget, they always expect the world from you, right? If you're someone who's charged low prices before, like I have, you know that these types of customers always expect the world. They've got a champagne expectation on a beer budget. I think it was Mrs. Muscle Cleaning who said that once, and I found that funny. But it's completely true. They have a low budget, but they expect the world from you. Whereas on the other end, you have high quality customers that pay more. They are much happier with the service usually. They're not going to try to micromanage their own service. They're not going to be on your tail the whole time. And they're generally more appreciative, and you've got more money left over to improve the quality of the service, and it just keeps going and going in that virtuous cycle. So there is really no downside to increasing your prices. And the only thing holding you back is your own belief that increasing your prices is going to tank your business. And when people do it, they get people telling them that their prices are too high. And that's when people freak out and go the other way. But that's normal. That is completely normal. If people aren't telling you your prices are too high, they're still too low, and you need to increase them. Another fact is we vote with our dollars on the things we care about. So the people who spend more money on cleaning are the people who care more about cleaning. And when you have people who care more about the thing that you care about, it's like this harmonious kind of agreement that you both come to, that You're both in this together. You're going to deliver a great service and they're going to be a great client, right? It sounds funny, but that's the other thing as well. You've got to really care about what you do. You've got to really have passion for what you do, in my opinion, to really grow to a high level. I speak to a lot of high level business owners and entrepreneurs who from the outside looking in, it seems like they really love what they do in their content. And then I talk to them and they say they don't care about it. It's just like a means to an end, or it's like it funds the thing they really like doing and they do that on the side. Like I know a guy who's a really famous internet marketer, and he's got a lot of followers online. He makes a lot of money. But he told me like he hates doing it. He really doesn't like doing it. He only does it because it makes him enough money to pursue his actual passion, which is like music. And I'm like, that's crazy. I feel like you really have to enjoy what you do and have passion about what product or service you're delivering. You know, in my case, I really love cleaning. I really do love it. And so I'm connecting with customers who also love cleaning as well. And you know, I'm able to charge higher prices because I've got these high quality customers who really care about what they want, and they can see my passion that I have for the game as well. And you've got to have that. If you don't have passion for what you do, you're not going to have faith in your ability to deliver it. And if you don't have faith in your ability to deliver a good service, you're not going to have faith in your ability to sell it. You're going to become completely disconnected from what you're selling. And so when you talk to customers and they say something like your prices are too high, you will doubt yourself because you kind of know deep down that, yeah, it is too high because I don't even believe in this. You know what I mean? So you've first of all got to believe in the thing that you're selling. You've got to believe that what you're able to deliver to people is of high quality. You need to love what you're doing, and you need to really believe that the price attached to the service is reflective of the value that you're delivering. Okay, so I want you to think about that. I want you to think about if you're really passionate about your business, if you really love what you're doing, because if you do, that's great. That is a key stepping stone on the way to delivering a great service and having a great business. If you don't, you really need to take a step back, look at your business and think about why you don't love it. Because if you don't love your business, it just can't go far, especially in an industry like this. It's cutthroat, it's tough, and it's pretty unforgiving sometimes. So you've really got to love it. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So back to it. If you're not confident in your service, if you doubt yourself, it's going to be hard for you to sell, because if you look at hot streaks you've had in the past where you've gotten like 5 or 6 customers in a row, it's like reaffirming your belief that what you do is great. And so after each customer saying yes, you get more and more confident and more positive. And so you get better and better at selling, you get better and better at talking. But then as soon as you get a no, as soon as you get 2 no's or 3 no's in a row, you become really, really down about it. You become less motivated to sell what you're selling, and that spark just kind of fades away. And that's when you really start to go downhill in terms of sales and productivity. So first step fundamentally is increasing prices. That is going to create that virtuous cycle for you and get you out of the vicious cycle, which is a constant downhill battle. And when you do that, you attract high quality customers who have a more vested interest in what they're buying because they care about it. There's a higher perceived value to them, so they value what you're offering a lot more, and so they're going to be much happier with the service that you deliver them because you're able to spend more money to make the service better, and therefore increase the experience for the customer, and then get more customers exactly like them, and just keep that flywheel spinning. So get yourself out of the vicious cycle, jump into the virtuous cycle by increasing your prices and never looking back. You just need to believe in yourself, and you need to believe in the numbers, because the numbers trump everything. The maths is the most important part, and mathematics is completely emotionless. This is rooted in logic. So when you understand that, you will be able to move forward with a lot less resistance. So that's all I wanted to share today. Bit of a shorter one because I just wanted to really hone in on one topic and hit that home. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on price rises. TLDR, if you haven't increased your prices yet and you know you need to, just do it. Okay, you're going to get knocked back. You're going to get people telling you that your prices are too high, but that's good. That shows you that you're heading in the right direction, because if you never hear that your prices are too high, they're too low. So thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.